Hi, good evening. How are you doing? So, as you can see, we're starting in the garden today. Why are we starting in the garden, Andrew?
Because we're picking some vegetables.
We're picking some vegetables. Just a few little bits. It's still quite early in the growing season, beginning of June, but I do have a few bits we can pick for our dinner tonight. So, first up, if you want to just come and have a look over here, look at this is my first courgette. I've been growing yellow courgettes this year. And this is the very first one that is ready for picking.
It's a banana, yeah.
It looks like a look. There's another little baby one here that's coming in, so that'll be the next one probably. But I've got a few courgette plants here. So there we go. Look at that. Oh, I've even got a leaf attached to it. Let's get rid of him.
Right.
And the other thing I'm just going to grab is some herbs. So over here in my hanging basket, I've decided to grow just herbs in this hanging basket this year. And a few tumbling tomatoes, they're obviously not out yet, and some nasturtiums. So I'm going to pick some sage. And it's great because you can obviously twist it around where it's a hanging basket. And let's pick some fresh thyme. And some oregano. Just like that. Good old sprig of rosemary there. So this is what we've got from the garden. And let's see what else we've got in the house to go with this dinner.
Got a banana for scale.
Well done, Elliot. You always need a banana for scale.
It's actually even more yellow than a
It looks more like a banana than the banana does.
The banana looks pretty drab compared to
Yeah, the banana looks rubbish. Okay there, so here are the bits I've just brought in from the house. These will of course get a good wash. I haven't even told you what we're going to be making tonight. So tonight's a risotto. Risotto is a great meal for all year round really, but especially in the summer, you can use some nice fresh flavours and ingredients. It can really come into its own. So I've got here a really nice big red onion. I've got a red pepper. Got some of these lovely big massive portobello mushrooms. I got these from our local garden centre, which has a bit of a farmer's market sort of section. So we've got some of these. And then I'm also just going to be popping in some peas. And I've also got some green beans that need using up. So we pop these in. Okay, so everything's chopped. We're ready to cook. First of all, I've got my red onion finely chopped. I've just got a pan on. This is quite warm with olive oil. So let's get this straight in. Okay, I'll just give this a few minutes, but I'll show you what else we've got ready. So, this is my red pepper and my yellow courgette. I've got my mushrooms here chopped up. I've done them quite chunky. Obviously, you've already seen these. And I also thought, you know what? They talk about eat the rainbow, don't they? And the one colour I didn't have was orange, but I remembered I had a little bit of frozen butternut squash in the freezer, obviously. So I got that out, so we're going to add this in as well. Other key ingredients. So we need some stock. So I've got a pan of hot water going on here. I think I'm going to do half and half, vegetable and mushroom stock, because why not, you know? We've got mushrooms in there, so being mushroomy tasting is good. And also vegetable stock is just the staple, so I'll get those in there. And then we got the risotto rice. So this is a Borio risotto rice. And then we got some nutritional yeast or nooch. We'll add that later on right at the end. Okay, so let's see how the onions are cooking up nicely. I don't want that on too hot. I don't want to scorch them. But now they're cooking down, we can add in some other bits. So I reckon, let's go for this. The courgette and the red pepper. So let's tip that in. This is quite a vegetable heavy dinner, which is always good, you know. It's good to get a lot of vegetables into your dish. We should all be aiming to have at least 5 a day. But I also reckon having 30 plant foods a week is a goal. So 30 different sort of sources of plant-based food. So fruit, veg, herbs, spices, even like nuts and seeds and some grains, like whole grains. So I think with this dinner, we're going to probably be hitting about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, maybe like about 10 in this meal alone, which is fabulous. So now these are cooking down, I reckon we can add in our frozen butternut squash. And let's also pop in our mushrooms. Okay. So we're going to cook this down for about 5 minutes until we're ready to do the next bit. Okay, so these vegetables have started cooking down. They've been about 5 minutes. So I'm going to add in my garlic now. So I've got quite a large amount of garlic if you want to come and take a little look, Andrew. This is about 5 large cloves. So it's quite a nice pile of garlic, but we like things garlicky, don't we? So that's all good. So I'm just going to add that all in. Now, garlic doesn't need to be cooked on a high temperature, unlike some other things. It can actually scorch and burn. So I've just turned the pan down a wee bit. And we're now ready to start adding in our rice. I do everything by eye, but I think it's about 75 grams of rice per person. So let's say if you're cooking for 4, you're going to want about 300 grams. But for me, I'd say that's about the right amount. Okay, so we just mix it round to combine with all the other ingredients. And then we'll add our first ladle of stock. So to begin with, it absorbs quite quickly. This will absorb within 30 seconds or so. You add 1 ladleful at a time, and as time goes on, it takes slightly longer to absorb and cook. So this is probably quite a good stage now to add some seasoning. So just some salt and pepper. Lots of black pepper. Love the black pepper. And a little, this is Himalayan pink salt.
Is it from Jamie Oliver?
No, I don't know where we got that from actually.
Everybody goes on about Himalayan salt, don't they? What
It's
is it?
meant to be the healthiest
Salt.
the healthiest salt.
Okay.
Yeah. So now we will add another ladleful. And I'm just going to get our herbs ready to add in. So these are the herbs. I've given these a really good wash. So we got the 2 sage leaves that I picked earlier. So I'll just give these a nice little chop. And we'll add them in at this stage. Like so.
So what have we
Let's
got
give it a
going in
stir.
there then? What?
So that was sage, thyme and oregano. And now for my rosemary, I'm just going to add the whole big old sprig in. And later on I'll fish this out. So we're just going to get the flavour from that rosemary. And I think we're about ready. You'll know you're ready to add another ladle spoon of stock. Because if you come over, Andrew, and take a look. So you want to wait for the previous stock to have absorbed and evaporated. So if you can draw a line through the dish and it doesn't come flowing back in,
It's ready.
it's ready for another spoonful of stock. Okay. And we're going to keep doing this for probably about half an hour until the rice is thoroughly cooked through and pretty much all that stock's been used up. So we will get back to you and see what it looks like. Or we will add the green beans and the peas towards the end when we've got about 5 minutes left of cooking time. So we'll show you that when we're near the end of cooking. Okay, so we've probably got about 10 minutes left to go on this. I'm just going to add the green beans in at this stage. They take a little bit longer than the peas. So just popping those in. If you were adding anything like broccoli or cauliflower or spinach, you could also do that at this stage, but the peas literally take a minute, so we do those right at the end. Okay, we're nearly done. Take a look. So everything's cooked down really nicely. I have just tested a little grain of rice, and it tastes pretty done to me. So first up, I'm just going to remove the stem of the rosemary that I popped in. So the little leafy bits have come off, and I've just removed that. So now I'm going to pop in our peas. These barely take any cooking, and they're defrosted now as well. So as you can see, there's just a little bit more stock in the pan. I've got a teeny tiny amount left in my saucepan there, so I'm just going to tip that in and stir it through. And then I'm going to add in the nutritional yeast. So in a traditional risotto that isn't vegan, you'd be using Parmesan cheese at this point. Now, nutritional yeast is wonderful because it has a really lovely cheesy flavour and a bit of a nutty flavour as well. But for vegans, the one thing that this is so good for is that it's really rich in vitamin B12, which is the one nutrient that sometimes it can be a little bit more challenging to obtain on a vegan diet. So I'm just going to add in a really generous sprinkle of the nutritional yeast, and this will really just add so much flavour and depth to the dish. So once I've stirred this through,
You can smell that. And
Yeah.
literally, that is probably the best way to describe it. Is like cheesy and nutty at the same time.
yeah, it's so good to add into like cheese sauces, anything really where you would normally use cheese in a meal. And of course, you know, the one benefit it has other than dairy cheese is that it's got like no fat in it basically. And obviously no animals were harmed as well, which is always a bonus. So this is kind of done, but what I'm going to do now is turn the heat off and put a lid on it. And we're just going to leave it there for about 5 to 10 minutes, and the rest of that liquid in there will just reduce down a little bit further, and it'll add basically make a nice sort of silky, creamy sauce when it combines. But we're just going to leave that with the lid on, and we're going to come back to it when we're ready to dish up.
Do you know what I really like?
Go on, what do you really like?
I really like it when you put a lid on it.
Thanks. Okay, everything's ready. This has been sitting here for about, I guess, about 7 or 8 minutes. And, mate, look at this. It's reduced down into a nice creamy sauce. The smells are sensational. I really wish we had, like, smell-o-vision because it just smells amazing. So, as ever, Andrew is going to have a little taste test of this. So, I'm just going to dish him some up into a bowl. Now, the magical thing about risotto is that you can add whatever you like into it. But today, all we've put in here is vegetables, and we've done a rainbow of vegetables with all the different colours. We've done purple, red, orange, yellow, green and white. So I'm going to name this a herby rainbow risotto. So Andrew, why don't you come on over here? Let me take the camera, and you can have a little taste, okay? What do you think Gorden Ramsey would think of my risotto?
I think he would bloody love it.
Wow. Hey, Gorden Ramsey, rate my risotto.
We're going to put it out there.
Should we invite him round for dinner one night? He'd love it. He'd love to come round.
He should come round and taste this. And I'd like to see what he says about it.
So, whilst Andrew just continues eating his dinner, I'm going to dish mine up. We're going to have a little sit down, and it's been really lovely cooking tonight. It's been a really nice evening. We haven't done too many dishes recently, have we? But planning to do a lot more in the coming weeks and months, hopefully. And we catch you guys next time. Good evening.